Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, today we are doing the side-by-side camera comparison between the iPhone 7 Plus and the Galaxy S8 Plus. Now we're going to be going over 4 different categories: low light, details, color reproduction, and selfies. Since low light is the biggest one though, we have expanded it in terms of how well it will kind of get different types of low light. So first, the more up close low light, and this is just a picture of a person up close and how they look in it without flash. And definitely this is where you can see the S8 pulling away from the iPhone 7 Plus, which, keep in mind, the iPhone 7 Plus beat the S7 Edge last year in low light. So we decided to go to 3 different sections in this, and let's go over all the differences, right? So first of all, in this first shot, we definitely get myself better lit. As a person, my face and everything, that is much better lit. Let's go over the gauntlet though. I feel like the iPhone 7 did a better job in the yellow on the gauntlet, but definitely when we zoom in, we get to see more detail in the S8 Plus. Sorry, there's just so many pluses and 8s and all this and 7s. So the S8 Plus definitely has a better low light in comparison to here, where I don't know if you can see it, but it's really sharpened, kind of like masked, so you don't get a lot of the detail in the iPhone version of it. Now, as we zoom out, you can also definitely see the text on my shirt, 7 is coming, is much clearer. The double I's and the is and CO part is much sharper on the S8 Plus. Now the swords are a little bit brighter, but again, I took 8 different shots of these. We gave two phones each a shot, so they would get a better one, and basically pick the best out of each of those and put them all together. And we did about 6 different phones. So I did move a little bit in some of these shots, but overall, the S8 Plus is going to take for the more up close low light shot. Now we go to a mid-range with a person shot, and here we get again a very different type of look, and it depends on what you're looking for. I will give you my opinion on which one I believe is going to be better in this shot. And overall, I do like the S8 Plus better in the shot than the iPhone 7 Plus. Now, I will say this: the iPhone 7 Plus did a better job of lighting up the background. So if you take a look at the cars in the background on these 2 shots, you can definitely see that the iPhone brightened on, you can't see the car in the back on the S8 Plus really at all, whereas you can see on the iPhone 7. However, the iPhone 7 just completely washed out a lot of this photo, and it loses the details in that. The glove is completely washed out almost. The shirt is very washed out as well, and although the face, half of my face is washed out and definitely has a weird glow effect going, overall it's just a better looking shot. I feel like on the S8 Plus gives that more dramatic feel to it. So overall, I would say the S8 Plus is going to beat out on this one. But I want to know your thoughts on this one, because this one I can see, again, your background is better lit on the iPhone 7. And I think that's where the next photo is going to come into play, where we see the difference between the two. So on this one, not entirely, but a little bit of the opposite happened from the last photo. I think the iPhone 7 Plus is the better dramatic photo between these two. Kind of gives you a really nice shot, and it does not have any lens flare, which was a big problem for most smartphones of 2016, was the lens flare. Apple contained that lens flare the best out of every smartphone we have seen on this comparison last year, and they still show up again this year. Really, the lens flare is tamed the best on the iPhone. Now, just to give you some context for this shot, we hit the building in the back to focus and light, and we take the photo. So, although the iPhone, I would say, has a better dramatic photo, again, contained the lens flare the best, I do like that the building is much better lit on the S8 Plus, and you get that not only in the building being lit, but everything around it, the bushes, the green, everything around it is better lit. So as we zoom into it, you can kind of see as we go through the building on the side from left to right, that the building and the bushes, I mean, look at that green on the bushes, is definitely better lit between the two. Overall, I will actually call this one a tie because it depends on what you're looking for. More so, the dramatic is definitely better on the iPhone 7 Plus for, again, that dramatic look. The S8 Plus, though, did light up, again, in a low light comparison, the photo better. And it's arguable which one skies better because the S8 has a little bit of that blue and black, whereas the iPhone 7 Plus, again, has a dramatic effect, more so just a black. Let me know which one you thought won between these two and this one. But overall, I will give it to the S8 Plus for having this low light better, this low light better, and this one being a tie. Or even if you wanted to go with the iPhone 7 Plus as it, again, this one is going to be the S8 Plus in low light. Now let's go into details. Now details honestly has never been Apple's strong suit. And I say that being just because in every comparison, they have not done well in details. Color reproduction, they're probably the best out there, and we're going to go into that next. But when it comes to details, the S8 Plus definitely takes it in this instance. So what do we do with this shot? We hit the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 in the middle, go from left to right, and scan all the titles to see just how good the detail is on these photos. Now, with that being said, I will say this, the iPhone 7 actually did a bit better job. Maybe this is from a lot of the software tweaks since we last did it last year at their launch. But the software tweaks has helped out because it's gotten better since the iPhone 7 Plus came out. So definitely software tweaks have definitely helped out the camera, it seems like. However, although in the middle you tend to get clear on both, the edges is definitely where Apple loses this yet again. And you can definitely see it really clearly as I zoom in with things like the Nathan Drake collection on here on both sides. You can easily read it on the S8 Plus version, whereas it's definitely faded. It is legible, but it's definitely faded in comparison. And you get on those on the similar titles on the side, you can just read them much more easily. And you get the contrast a little bit better too in terms of it. And again, it's better lit. If we look at the PS4 top part of here, the S8 did a better job of lighting the top section compared to the iPhone 7 Plus. And as we move on the left side, we get that similar function. Again, the Fate of Two Worlds on here. Definitely the HD collection is hard to make out on both, but it's almost not at all. You can't read collection on the iPhone 7 Plus, whereas you definitely can read on the S8 Plus. And then again, the Tekken Hybrid, the Truth, the Stick of Truth, and definitely the Remix section are almost, again, very blurred in comparison. Again, the iPhone did a much better job than it did last time around, so understand that it did a much better job than last time around. But in terms of details, it's still going to go to the S8 Plus, and I will look forward to seeing the Pixel XL do this because the Pixel XL was one of the best in details last time around. All right, and then we go to color reproduction. Now, for color reproduction, we go over two different skin tone types. We go over the white balance on the top, and then we go over the purple and green on the bottom. So that's 4 different categories, and let's go over each one. So first off, on this section of the Family Feud cover, more natural skin tone is definitely going to go to the left side on the iPhone 7 Plus. Again, it just does better usually with skin tones. So that being said, the iPhone 7 Plus is going to do a more accurate color reproduction with the Family Feud cover in comparison. Now, as we slide over here, we have a difference. So the iPhone 7 Plus definitely does the purple and the green more accurately. That is more accurate to the colors on that sand than it is on the S8 Plus. With the white balance, though, you definitely get a little bit better job done with the S8 as this really kind of blends in everything on this image, whereas you definitely get a little bit more detail on here, getting the lines, especially right here, kind of, again, mask the effect here. So you just get a little bit better, more detailed photo parts on this section, especially with the strands of hair. Just a little bit more accurate on the white balance section. So if you're getting something very white, it's going to be a little bit more accurate and get more detail with the S8 Plus. And finally, we go to this board, which has a lot of different skin tones, ranging from different ones. And here's the thing, I feel like the S8 Plus is definitely going to take these skin tones, which is surprising. The S7 Plus didn't definitely last year. They all looked whitewashed. But it's almost the opposite that happened this year, with the S8 getting more of a variation of skin tone. This one in particular, notice this one's kind of whitewashed on the iPhone, whereas you definitely get the more darker skin on here on this one. And again, just all these different kind of shades, you can see it. The S8 just seems to do a little bit better with these variations of skin tones on different styles. So overall, with this one, I still, even though it's 2 and 2, I still feel that the iPhone does a little bit better job on this one. So I will give color reproduction to the iPhone 7 Plus. It is 2 and 2. I do understand this. I know I might get some hate in the comment section for it. But I think overall, the iPhone's just one of the best in color accuracy. And I think it's going to do a bit better on this side for color accuracy purposes. Let me know again what you guys think. Do you guys think this one should have been tie? You can mark your own marker on it and call it a tie. I'm calling it the iPhone 7 Plus. So again, we have low light S8, details S8, and then iPhone 7 for the color reproduction. And now we're going to selfies. Now selfies is a part where Apple has beaten the S8 or Galaxies in detail for a long time, because S8 had a lower megapixel count. However, this time around, the S8 Plus gives you 8 megapixels as well. Tightening that with the fact that S8 has always been a wider camera. What does that mean? It's an f1.7 lens compared to an f2.0 lens on the iPhone. So you're getting a much wider shot, let more light in to give you a better overall shot. And you can definitely see this on this half of my face, because the iPhone really gives a dark image on that side of my face. And because of that, not only does it lose some detail, but it's just definitely not a good selfie. The S8 is definitely overall better lit because of the wider aperture. It also gets more in the shot. If you can see on these shots, and both the entire frame is in it. The iPhone 7 cuts off before you even get to the door, whereas the S8 goes all the way to the wall. On the right side, the iPhone 7 gets to this step right here, whereas, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're getting this whole step on this side. So you're getting much of a wider shot on here. Now we also do this because this is called the extreme selfie test, to give you an idea of how low light and bright light is going to be behind you. So on this side over here, the left side, you're getting a low setting to see how it does well in low light. Now in terms of detail, neither one did a great job. I feel like we used to get better shots on this. I don't know what, maybe it's just more of the face is in focus now, but both have a good amount of noise in the background. Neither one is particularly clear in that. But again, at least you don't get as much noise as we used to back in the day. But some cameras I feel did a bit better job. I don't know if it's saying they're concentrating on less with it, but we've seen better and we've seen worse overall compared to both of these two in terms of low light. Now, in terms of handling brightness, so this is a very bright light. If you see our reviews from past years, you definitely got washed out. Like you couldn't see any of the bars, because that simulates how the sun will be. If the sun is behind you, will it still be a clear shot? And with both have done a really good job. Apple definitely improved on this with software, because if you look back to our iPhone 7 Plus photos from earlier last year, it did not look this good. So again, that software improvements have helped out Apple once again on here, and we get a much better shot on both. Overall, you get a little bit more detail in these leaves in comparison, but that is about the same. I will give the overall better selfie to the S8. It gives you a wider shot and it's better lit overall. So I feel like I have to give it. Although in terms of detail, both come out fairly good. You can see like pores on both images. But let me know what you guys think when it comes to that. Alright guys, so as we go through this photo comparison, we have seen a lot of differences between the two. So let's recap and go through each of them just to give an idea again of where we started to where we ended. So in terms of a more up-close low light without flash, the S8 is going to do a better one, just better overall lighting the subject and getting a little bit more detail in there. In terms of the mid-range shot between the two, I feel the S8 definitely does a better job. Better color, not as washed out. You're going to get truer color on there as well. And it looks better. So let me know what you guys think about that. And then finally, this is the debatable one. It depends on really what you're looking for. The more dramatic effect with the iPhone 7 Plus or the better lit subject from further distance on the S8 Plus. I'm in between. I typically tend to like the subject being better lit overall, but I hate lens flare, so I would call this a tie personally, and what I did. So in low light, again, S8 won. Details, the S8 is definitely the winner, just getting a better over details, although the iPhone 7 did improve. When it comes to color reproduction, the S8 did much better than the S7 from last year, but overall I would still give it to the iPhone 7 Plus, just having a more consistent and better color reproduction overall. So the iPhone 7 Plus gets this one. And in terms of selfie, although iPhone was the selfie king from last year, did usually always better on detail. The S8 has really come into play with detail, and you're getting a better, wider, and brighter shot with the S8, so I have to give selfies to the S8. So that being said, the Galaxy S8 wins this camera comparison. Now, obviously, we're going to see later on this year with the S7s. The S7s should still have the same camera as the iPhone 7. However, the iPhone X, the $1,000 plus iPhone that will come out later this year, no, an iPhone 8 will not come out this year. I don't care what your tech reviewer says. It will not come out this year. It never has. It never will. Skip the S. They're going to have the S series. However, if you want to learn about the iPhone X and the iPhone 7s, we do have a video on that, so check that out on our channel. Overall, though, with this comparison, the S8 clearly is going to be the better overall camera between the two. I'd love to get your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to check out our other videos. We're going to compare this phone to the S7 Edge as well as the Pixel XL, so stay tuned for those. Alright guys, thank you so much as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.